Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. This is a transfer deadline day lunchtime special. As if we didn't do enough shows yesterday, there was one. There was one after the game. There was one at 10 o'clock. There was one at 1 a.m. this morning when the news about Alexander Isak broke and his deal to Liverpool. But there's so much happening. As I've seen them in our Telegram group, I think it was Ushian said this is a proper deadline day. Look, there's so much going on. I'm going to try to cover as much as I can in the next half an hour or so. If you have seen something that I don't talk about, by all means put it into the chat. I'll get it up onto the screen and we'll have a chat about it. But let's start with Liverpool. Of course, that news did break at around midnight last night, or a little bit after midnight, that Liverpool have agreed a deal for Alexander Isak. It will cost Liverpool £125 million, £5 million of it coming from Isak apparently, which will make £130 million to Newcastle, and that deal looks like it will go through. Alexander Isak is either on his way or at Liverpool's training ground at the moment to do a medical. So that one looks, it's the biggest transfer. It's a British transfer record. So there you go. That one's there, and it feels like let's put that to the side of it because there's so much going on. Breaking news from Liverpool is that Aston Villa are closing in, according to Paul Joyce and David Ornstein. Aston Villa are closing in on a deal for Harvey Elliott. It's a loan with an obligation to buy for £35 million, and they're closing in on that deal as of now. That information's come out in the last 10 minutes or so. Anything else in Liverpool? Yes. Mark Guehi, again, Paul Joyce is reporting that Liverpool are confident of getting this done. A medical will be done in London for Mark Guehi. And as Chris says there, it looks like Guehi and Isak will be added. Could we add one more? He asks. Well, we'll have a look in a minute. Look, I think most people out there expected Harvey Elliott to leave the club, and most people expected Isak and Guehi to come in. So although it is big news on transfer deadline day, it's the sort of stuff that we kind of settled on. You know, there's other stuff going on, but we'll have to see what happens. It's what we've got 6 hours left, just under 6 hours left now before the window closes, and we will be live from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Myself and Kev with the last hour of the deadline day. Kolo Muani looks like he's off the Spurs. The talk on that was that they were discussing with PSG. PSG wanted some sort of obligation or option, but it looks like he's off the Spurs on a straight loan deal for a year. No obligation, no option on a deal there. But Colin Moani, who was linked with Juventus, I think looks like he's on his way to Spurs, which is interesting because they have the likes of Tell there, they brought in Kudus, they have got Richarlison, they have Solanke, so that's another striker. So could be movement from Spurs on the way back out. Maybe Richarlison. My dog agrees it might be Richarlison. Maybe Solanke going the other way. We'll have to wait and see on that. But it looks like Spurs are going heavy on forwards here with Colin Muani. So we'll have to see what happens there. Manchester United have agreed a deal with Royal Antwerp for their goalkeeper. His name escapes me. I had it in front of me a few minutes ago. United, the goalkeeping situation is a real strange one because when you look at United, let's start with Emi Martinez, who of course Aston Villa as well. There's an awful lot of movement around there, and Emi Martinez was saying his goodbyes, to Villa fans at the last home game of the season last season. He was expected to move. The talk was he'd go to Manchester United. The Donnarumma stuff comes up and you're like, oh, United might go for Donnarumma. Now the rumour now is that Donnarumma will sign for Manchester City for £30 million, and Ederson will go to Turkey for £14 million, but that will only happen if they can get the Donnarumma deal done. Now you think, right, that clears everything up there. Let's see if Emi Martinez goes to Manchester United. But Manchester United, again, I've lost it. Manchester United, in the deal that they've agreed, according to David Ornstein, Manchester United have reached a total agreement with Royal Antwerp to sign Senna Lamens. Deal for the 23-year-old Antwerp goalkeeper worth €21 million, which is about £17 million, plus add-ons, no sell-on, 5-year contract, and the Belgian international is flying into Manchester to complete this deadline day move. So that means then that United are going to sign this keeper, who I talked to one or two Manchester United fans, and one of them in particular, Dara is his name, good friend of mine, really excited over this, didn't want Emi Martinez. Where does that leave Emi Martinez? Still sitting at Villa on big wages. Villa's problem is not spending money, it's the wages compared to their revenue, and that's where their issue is. And when you see Villa fans saying, oh, we can't spend money, well, you can, but you have to get the right wage structure in there, and they are miles above where they need to be. Absolutely miles above where they need to be. So that one there looks like it's happening, and that goalkeeper will go to United. Now we have to see what happens. Emi Martinez, where does he end up? Is there a club there for him? Could United do both? Not too sure. So it's a real strange one for Emi Martinez, and a lot going on at Villa. And just to throw this into the mix, Liverpool being linked with Morgan Rogers, of course, at Villa. Now, if Villa get Harvey Elliott in, did he let Morgan Rogers go? I don't think so. I think Villa were looking at Asensio, but I think Asensio's gone to Fenerbahce on a permanent deal. So there's just so much going on. And if you've seen anything else, or you have an insight on any of these things, please throw them in. Gary Max says, good afternoon. I've done fuck all work today. Just been looking at transfer stuff. Yeah, well, that's the day, that's it. You know what I mean? I'd say your boss will be all right. Megan McCallion just confirms Gray most likely to do his medical in London now, which is absolutely fine. That's done all the time. There's no issue there. He doesn't have to be at the exit or on Liverpool's terms, to go and do that. It can be done in London. There won't be an issue. Deal sheets in by 7 p.m. and then you have until 9 p.m. Says Mark. Yeah, of course, the famous deal sheets will come into effect at around 6:57 tonight. Gutted Elliott is going, says Brian, but I understand it. We were talking about this on a couple of shows yesterday, and we were saying, look, if he wants to play football, and he does want to play football, he loves Liverpool, that's his club, but if he's not getting the game time at Liverpool, he has to move on for his own career, because he wants to get into an England squad. He wants to get in there. He wants to progress. And if it's going to be away from Liverpool, fine. It'll be interesting to see with the 35 million obligation to buy. I can't see Liverpool getting a buyback on that. I really can't, not at that price. Maybe, actually they might, but I'm not too sure. They were talking earlier in the summer of 40 million with a buyback option and 50 million without. The fact that it's 35, yeah, you might see Liverpool get something there. Brian says, how you have mighty weekend had by all sound. Yeah, Brian was up on me playing golf. We had a lovely day. Nice food, nice drinks, decent golf. It was a good time, and we'll do it again very, very soon. Nick K says, you got a keeper. Shit. Very highly rated this goalkeeper, Nick, from the one Manchester United fan I've spoken to about him, was adamant that you should go for this guy over Emi Martinez. So depends on what you rate Emi Martinez. Nick says, all right, Gav, exciting times. It is. I think if you do Isak today and you do Guehi today, I think it's a fantastic window. Like Gareth is there, Frimpong, Wirtz, Kerkez, Leone, Ekatika, Isak and Guehi. Is that the best transfer window ever? It's one of the most exciting transfer windows ever. Yeah, by a distance, I think. It's just the quality that we're bringing in. Cahill says, I hope we go for Rodgers off Villa, but probably too late. Nothing's too late. Are there any other mad shouts beyond Rodgers for us, says Nick? I haven't seen anything outside of it. When we were doing the Isak show last night, there's a few in the chat mentioning Bradley Barcola, but I think that was just made up. As look, we have Isaac and we're going to go and do this, but it's not outside of that. I think we were kind of settled on Isak and we were settled on Guehi and Elliott probably going out, and then that would be it. I'm not going to lie, the three of us that were on the show last night, and myself and Matt that were on the show early this morning, we're kind of going, we wouldn't mind one more, but I don't know if Liverpool can do it. ONKC says Glasner is going to leave if Guehi is sold, and he'll be Leverkusen boss since Erik Ten Hag was sacked today. Of course, that's big news on deadline day. Erik Ten Hag, I think he's 2 league games into the season as being sacked by Bayer Leverkusen. Doesn't surprise me. I'm not going to lie. I don't know where Erik Ten Hag goes from here. It was a very hard job to take over after the job that Xavi Alonso done. The talk is that he lost the dressing room before the ball was kicked, with his methods and the way he wanted them to play, etc., etc. But he's left, and Glasner is highly rated in Germany, and I could see him going there. The other one I think you have to watch, and I said it weeks ago, you have to watch Unai Emery at Villa. You really do. I think, I don't think it'd hurt his prospects if he walked away from Villa, because I think that Manchester United job comes up in the next month or two. Genuinely, I do. And I think Emery would be excellent at it, because he go in and he knows the league. He knows how to play. And I think he's adaptable. and I think he's proven himself at Villa to be really good. He's proven himself at was it Villarreal he was at before them, but he's a really good coach, and I think that's what they need. They need someone to come in and go, listen, this is an identity, not this 3-4-3 messing. But we'll see how it gets on. Villa are paying 80% of Sancho's wages, which is surprising given their PSR issues, says Megan. Yeah, and 80% is about 250 grand a week. So what are they getting off the books? If Emi Martinez goes, that's a big chunk of that. Morgan Rogers signed for Villa and then signed another big bumper deal. So maybe there's a move there. Who else have Villa sold? Have they got rid of anybody else? They did do the Duran thing, but that wouldn't have been massive wages. It'll be interesting to see what way Villa go with this. But that's why I think you should watch Unai Emery, because I think Unai Emery's probably looking and saying, I've got them into the Champions League. We had a really good run in it. I think they get to a quarter final. And now they feel like they're coming back down and they have to meet a certain level before they can go again. And that's not going to suit him for what he wants to do and his ambitions. 5 million loan fee, then 35 million next summer for Harvey Elliott. So there you go. Kieran B feels it's dirt cheap for Elliott. What about the so-called English tax? Yeah, but I think you have to factor in the fact that Liverpool will drive a hard bargain for players. But I think with this one, it's kind of like, if you need football, we let you go and we won't be a prick about it. The sort of way. So 40 million is about right. But with 40 million earlier in the summer, that was listed as 40 million with a buyback option. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Harvey Elliott and the actual details, what comes out. Glasner only has a year left. Wouldn't be surprised if he resigns if we get Gueye. I don't know whether Glasner is positioning himself there or, yeah, okay, we're going to lose Gueye, but we cannot lose him until we get replacements in. And they haven't confirmed replacements, have they? I know they're looking for a loan deal for the lad off Brighton, and they were talking to the centre-back off Toulouse, but have either of them been confirmed? Any of them being confirmed? It's Eric Ten Hag to replace Mourinho. I don't know, merry-go-round time now. Solskjaer's lost his job, Mourinho's lost his job, Ten Hag has lost his job, Leverkusen are looking for a manager, Glasner's very highly rated. Does Mourinho have an interest in going to Germany? We've seen West Ham being linked with getting rid of Potter and maybe bringing in that. So it does not only players moving here, it could be managers moving. But again, a manager moving now, he's going to go in with someone else's squad because you're in the last day. You're not going to have any influence on players you sign. And we know how much Mourinho likes to be in control of what the squad is. So you probably look at Mourinho sitting where he is until the start of next season. United is a poison chalice, says Gar. Too many overpaid prima donnas. Well, they're trying to get rid of that. They really are. Let me see. Fulham are after Raheem Sterling, the forgotten man, at Chelsea. Went to Arsenal on loan, was absolutely dirt, and gone back to Chelsea. He'd probably go for a really, really small fee. They paid 40 million for him 3 years ago, but probably have paid most of it off, and they'll probably sign 4 fellas on loan. The local Tesco will buy the players, and then they'll give them to Chelsea in a year's time, because that seems to be how it's working at the moment. Nick says, Aston Villa's financials being managed like someone learning how to play Football Manager right now. It's just the wages percentage to the income, the revenue. That's what it is. How much are they selling? How well are they selling? And then the revenue on top of that, gate receipts, sponsorship deals, wherever it might be, TV money. They're spending an awful lot on wages, and everyone knows that. Ash just says there, the Gueye medical to be done in London, so that's widely reported now. Glasner from a Palace point of view is 100% correct. I can see him walk. Losing your 2 best players is a hard pill to swallow. Yeah, and they've brought in somebody to replace Eze, because I seen that the other day, and they're trying to bring in 2 centre backs. So if that comes in, there you go. Neil Francis says, what's happening, Gav? Get Sean on, he's gold. Sean, he was in Liverpool yesterday watching the match. I think he's at home, he's probably working, because all the people on this show work. They have their own jobs. I'm just fortunate that this is my job, but it's hard to get people. you know, where when they're walking. Ryan says, anyone know where the day trippers went? No, we don't. This is the day trippers, formerly the day trippers. It's now the Talkin Kop, Ryan. So there you go. It's the same thing. It's just a different name. Let me see. Red Steve says, it amazes me how late these teams leave it. It's like they've got shares in yellow toys. Everyone leaves it late because they're all trying to position themselves to get what they need. Like, take Newcastle. Newcastle couldn't leave Isak any later than last night because they have to get. I think they'll go and try sign Vissa, because Newcastle need another player. You know, because if you want to believe everything that Newcastle and their journalists have told you, they literally signed the lad from Germany as replacement for Calvin Wilson. So there you go. You know, it's a bit of a mad one. So is there anything else going on? I'm not too sure. Any other names? Tell you what, mate. True Geordie was spitting when he said Ekatike and Isaac will definitely play together. Yeah, that was never happening. That was never happening. It really, really wasn't. Now here's one for you. Interesting enough, you asked where Shawnee was. I might be able to do something here for you. Let me see. Let me see. Will we try to get Shawnee in for a few minutes before we finish up? Let me see. Now I'm doing this all on screen, so you're gonna have to help me and just relax for a minute, right? That's what Danny is giving you. We'll send Shawnee the link and we'll see. Let's see what Shawnee has to say about it, and then we can get me and Shawnee on screen. So if there's anything else, if there's any, Brian says, "No, I don't like Shawnee." I'd say Luke Edwards is devastated. Well, you know, what are we meant to do here? You know, it's the fella's made a fortune. The fella's made an absolute fortune off you know, off this. And if you think he hasn't, you're mad. You're just fucking mad. Let me see. Tariq Lamptey to Fiorentina for £5 million. Oh, right. Okay. Tariq Lamptey for £5 million from Brighton. Real prospect, Tariq Lamptey, but then got injured. And has always been injured. Been enjoying the copium from Newcastle fans, says Nick. Went from he's not for sale to 150 million or get the fuck out to he isn't that good anyways, real quick. Yeah, he did go real quick on that, didn't he? Now, let me see if I can get this. Aha! There he is now. The man who went off and got 3 points for the rest and came back with them. Shawnee, people are calling for you. They're like, what is Shawnee's feeling on this deadline day? Shawnee's meant to be walking, so don't be watching
it.
On here.
I was watching it. I'm on my lunch.
He's on his lunch. Do that thing with your fingers.
Yeah, I'm on my lunch.
Shawnee, Guehi, medical in London as we speak. Isak, apparently on the way to Liverpool to complete medicals and etc. etc. Do you think that's where Liverpool ended? That's it?
Yeah, I do, and I've absolutely no issue with that. But I'll say one thing: I think there's more to the Harvey Elliott deal that meets the eye.
You got Morgan Rogers type?
Yeah, but not maybe in this window. I think we're feather in the nest for maybe something down the line. Okay. With Morgan Rogers, to be honest, because I feel like that's a low. I don't know what loan fee they're paying.
$5 million loan fee.
Yeah,
plus 35 million, but that would reach 40 million, which means earlier in the summer, we're only talking about it. Earlier in the summer, 40 million meant we were getting a buyback. 50 million, and you could have no buyback. That sits at 40, even if it's 5 million loan and 35 next summer.
I feel like that's low. But maybe for a reason. Because we know the way we look. Listen, I wouldn't be adverse to keeping Harvey around, to be honest with you. I think he's a really good player to have off the bench, but I think Villa are doing really well there on that deal, to be honest with you. I think it's a good deal for both parties. But
it gets a player in, but it pushes it down. It gives him a chance to do something in a year's time with regards to PSR.
Yeah, I don't know how much
they cleared here, Shawnee.
They sold Jacob Ramsey. They've sold. But who else have they sold?
Not really. I don't think anyone. Like John Duran
Yeah,
last summer, right? Or maybe in the January window. But other than that, I don't see. I
yeah.
don't.
John Duran, they let go in January, wasn't it?
January, I think, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's a low fee by Liverpool to accept. I have a feeling that there's some ulterior motive there
They
behind that and
sold
saying,
they sold Leon Bailey to Roma for €3 million. Then Donker on a free transfer, Ramsey for €40 million, and that is it.
yeah. So look, they haven't done a whole lot, have they? Really, in terms
No,
of outgoings, I
they
know they've probably,
they've paid 30 million for your man Gassant. They paid 3.5 million for the goalkeeper. They paid 7 million
yeah,
for a fella called Oscan. They signed the Sassy for 6 million.
they signed
Um,
Lindelof as well today.
on loan. Sorry, that was the loan one. But if you go back to here, you have Bezo for 3.5. So they've brought in about €45 million and they've spent €33 million. Did you
Yeah,
say Lindelof to me?
yeah, they signed Lindelof for a free.
Did they?
Yeah,
Oh, never knew that.
yeah. Just about 20 minutes ago, I seen on Sky.
Okay.
Like this is the fourth time in a long time where Sky have actually gotten a bit of a run out of this
Yeah,
deadline day, isn't it?
yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah,
It's normally a lot of bollocks when they're
yeah.
trying to patch you up, bleeding Raheem Sterling signing for bleeding Arsenal like it's the fucking second coming of Christ. Remember when Sterling signed for Arsenal, your man Eddie who goes, well, to be honest with you, we weren't even planning on signing him. It's just like what a start to your career, Raheem at Arsenal.
We're just bored out of our face. We thought, listen,
I'll tell you a
this might
story,
pass
right?
deadline day a bit quicker.
I'll tell you a story. I was flying in last night. I was on the quarter to 12 flight, right? So obviously the Isak thing breaks late,
Yeah.
and obviously the flight home was full of Liverpool fans, but there was one Arsenal fan literally sitting right beside me, and he's the one who flicked up his phone and he just went, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Like I was, why? He goes, "Look," and he just shot me the thing from fucking David Ornstein and Isak. The fucking lads on the plane cheered, and it was bleeding great, great.
So you landed in Dublin last night to Arsenal fan flipping open his phone and going, you signed Isaac.
Yeah, he just went off because I was chatting to him on the plane, like he was giving out yards about Arteta. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
man, I didn't feel too bad about missing my flight. Your man paid $570 for a ticket in the away end yesterday.
570.
Yeah, paid $570 for a ticket in the away end. He was like, now in
Jesus.
fairness, he was all right. He was sound enough. Like he was like, to be honest with you, I was certain we were going to get a decent result, like a win. He said, I thought we were going to beat us, and he was like, how'd you feel about that? And he was like, I think the tide is starting to turn a little bit on Arteta with a lot of them, he said, because 1 billion spent on just lumping balls into the box.
Hmm.
Like, but he just flicked up his phone. He was like, oh, for fuck's sake, I goes, what? He goes, look, David Ornstein, Liverpool,
Job done.
Newcastle, a great deal. He was like, oh, fuck's sake. So, yeah. Look, I think as a whole, we've done unbelievable business. Like, if you don't
If
consider
it
this,
stops at Guehi and Isaac, are you happy with that window?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Considering the money we brought in as well, like this is not a window where we're going to be paying for it years down the line because we've done untold damage to ourselves. We've sold really well and we've recruited very well. But look, it looks like Isak's done. Like I think that just needs to be announced. And they're saying now
Ash
that
McCall says that Isaac is all done. He has just left the AXA.
yeah, which is good.
Off
It
to
looks
Shiraz
that.
now for his breakfast.
Yeah, it looks to me now. I don't know what the story was, the Gwetty one, but they're saying it's going to be a race against time. But
Medical in London.
I don't know whether this is going to be the one that they drag out until 6:58. You know?
I think it's more a race against time on the Palace side than ours. That's what I think it might
Yeah.
be. I think terms will be agreed. That won't be a problem. Medical, get all them sorted, and then you get the
I
papers
wouldn't be.
signed over.
I just wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if Gomez goes there for the end of the window.
Would you not? He's been. No, we
No.
were talking about it last night. He was linked with a €15 million move to AC Milan. Apparently, a 4-year deal on 150 grand a week, which is a great deal. But again,
I think he has a good chance. I think Gomez a very good chance of getting called into the England squad if he's playing regular football. Like you seen his cameo yesterday. The only thing that I let Joe Gomez down is his body. Because I think when it comes to when he's playing regular football, he's a fucking brilliant centre back. He's as good as any other English centre
Yeah,
half.
he was really good when
And
he
I'm
came on
saying,
yesterday.
yeah, he was. He was brilliant when he came on yesterday. But that's the problem with him. Like you're likely to hear now that he's out for 6 weeks after the international break. You know what I mean? After not playing any football, and that's the issue with him. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up at Palace, genuinely, because Milan walked away, and I think Milan was probably more of a appealing to him. But I wouldn't be surprised if it got to around 4 o'clock now, and then you hear that there's a deal in the works, and that's gonna free up Guehi going to Liverpool.
I'm reading
But
there
that's
that Everton are looking at, is it Nathan Aki? Everton are looking at, which wouldn't be a bad deal for them either.
Yeah, I like Aki. I like him a lot. I think he's very good.
The Master of Music says Harvey to Villa is a done deal. And Chris asks, is this the best window in Premier League history? Jeff Stelling this morning was quick to poo-poo that claim, but I can't think of a better window from somebody.
Yeah, but look, it will be. That will
probably
be
go
something
back to
that
the
you
Chelsea fucking ones around 2004 when they done.
Yeah, I think this is something that will be determined in retrospect. Like
you have to wait
if
for
all
the
the
results.
Exactly, if all the lads go on and do well, then yeah, it's hard to argue. But look, I just this is as close to a 10 out of 10 window you'll get, I reckon.
Black Prince says Gomez doesn't want to go to Crystal Palace, apparently.
Maybe not. I don't know that, but mate, you could be right. I'm just spitballing now. Again, similar to Harvey, I wouldn't be adverse to seeing Joe Gomez hang around, to be honest with you, because I think he's a good utility player to have now. Whether he wants that role or not is a different story. But yeah, but what a window.
Yeah. Let me see. Liverpool have left their 35 million offer on the table from the weekend, says Paul. Club now waiting for Steve Parish to inform them if Guehi can undergo a medical in London, according to Ben Jacobs. So again, I think that's probably Palace saying, when we get A and B in the door, we'll let Guehi go and do it. It won't take long from the medical. You go in and do the medical test, and once that's cleared, the papers will be there to be signed. Like, it's not like they're fucking sending by carrier pigeon. You know, that's all quick. The top your agent stuff and all that'll all be done anyway. So it'll just be a case of signing the papers. Master of Music says Glasner is threatening to leave if Guehi is sold. I
think he's gonna go anyway.
Yeah, well, he's going to be linked to Bayer Leverkusen now because of Eric Ten Hag. But Red says, tweet of the day is Richard Key is whining the players were too close to the wall and Szoboszlai's Thunder Blaster whilst using the wrong angle. Absolute tears. I did see that. I'd have to look at the rule, and I'm not saying that the people that are claiming against that are wrong, but I think it's actually you have to be a metre in line with the wall. You have to be a metre away from them. The players are actually close to the wall, are actually behind the wall. They're actually not in it. They're behind it. So I'm not too sure on that. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if some sort of rule was broken there and he just went, fuck it. We made one decision last week and we make a different one this week because that's how bad they are. You know, it really is how bad they are. And we keep telling you that, and everyone keeps telling them, but they just keep carrying on with how they go. Dylan says, not that I'm happy Harvey is gone, just doesn't move the needle for me at all. Not going to play, so not worth keeping around. I think a lot of people are there with that, Shawnee. Like, he's just not going to get the football. You know, we've had enough injuries and problems, and Elliott just hasn't got in there.
No, and I think he looked like he was going to play a prominent part last year based on the preseason, and then he gets injured early in the season, and then kind of never really got us any momentum. Now he's a few big goal contribution for us in the season, but look, I think this is one of them moves that suits us and it suits him. I think he should be going and playing regular football, and look, playing Europa League for Villa as well is not a bad shout. But Villa looking like a bit of a basket case at the moment as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Emery is close to the.
That's why I said the flank. The PSR and the fact that Asensio goes after being on loan, they didn't get him. Rashford the same. John Duran leaves. They're actively trying to get rid of Ollie Watkins, in my opinion, but then they bring in a striker and you're kind of going, you can't get rid of Watkins because you've done nothing dependable there. I wouldn't be surprised if Morgan Rogers moved. You know,
I think it's very late. I think it's very late in the day.
It is late in the day, but deals can get done, Shawnee. And the thing is, players now at Villa are probably looking, going, oh, fucking hell, Emi Martinez isn't getting a move here. They're trying to get rid of him. And if this is the way it's going, we're going to be weaker than we were last season. And you look at the teams around us, and they are getting stronger. They are getting stronger. Like, I'd argue Newcastle are probably stronger than last season. Okay, they're losing Isak. But if Newcastle bring in Vissa, and I don't know how to say that fella's name. Is it Valdemade? Is that his name?
Valdemade, yeah.
Valdemade, okay. If they bring him in with Jacob Ramsey and Alanga, and they've brought in Thiaw at centre-back, they are a stronger team, Newcastle. And they were the ones that were right around that pipped Villa last season. And I think teams will get stronger. Spurs are going to get stronger. Spurs are going to be okay. So that's going to be pressure on Villa. And I think Villa, some teams at it might look, or players at it might look and go, this might be the time to get out of here. And that's just my point of view. I could be completely wrong, but I think that's his. 55 million for Vissa, says Ash. That the first offer 25 million. What a jump.
Yeah, they've had a nightmare, Newcastle.
United deal done on Lamans. They are not doing Martinez at all now, says Gavin Walsh. Apparently the Reds are top and Isaac is in. This is a 12 out of 10 window, says Daz. With the imminent signing of Alexander Isak for 125 million, LFC have almost as high a net spend as Arsenal this season, which is weird, to be fair. Gavin says, to be fair, Newcastle have had a good window. I think they have had a good window if they get Vissa, but I just think the way they've gone about it has been madness. They could have had all this, like you said to me last week, Shawnee. They could have had all this and been much stronger in the first 3 games of the season for it. So, and then, chuck up the 2 points. They possibly could have had 9 if they had these players in the door, and they had every opportunity to do that. Let me see. What's Shawnee going to do with his free time now? He has no reason to call Newcastle fans names on the internet.
Who said that?
Dylan, you attracted so many of them, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't call any.
They all swarmed around you like bees, they did.
Didn't call them a single name. I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you not call? Are you sure you didn't call any of them a sausage?
No, it might have been even worse than that, to be honest with you.
Worse.
Do you know what? I am going to miss them because they are absolute
bananas,
batshit insane. They are. They're absolute mental.
Yeah.
I had some crack since this all started in June. Just the wobbles out of them has been unbelievable. Like, you know what I mean? And then now that I didn't really like her anyway thing with Isak.
Yeah, not that good.
No, not that good. He's 9 assists in 3 years.
Yeah. Brian does say he called them all mackerel munchers last year. Yes, he probably did. But it was probably
call them mackerel munchers a long time. It's a bleeding mad old part of the world. It's the bleeding armpit of England, to be honest with you. Like, what's the story where it being mine?
Whether it's Sunday night or Monday at lunchtime, it doesn't matter. Sean's gonna fucking give it you about barrels.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is it's -6. It's -6 in July out there, and none of them wear t-shirts. Like, what's the story with them?
Yeah.
And they just cover that body in tattoo. Newcastle tattoo. Like, what is going on? It's a mad scene. The picture of Rio Engamao celebrating in front of the fans, and then some woman's about 55. It actually turns out she works in HR, giving this 16-year-old young flip abuse in the middle of the stadium. It's like, it's the fucking maddest place on earth.
But they are gone. They're gone away from. He's ours. We'll integrate him. He'll play. He's not very good. He's not very good.
Let him rot. Wait, he's Ekatike 4-2-2. Oh, what a time to be alive. Oh, he's not in the squad. Has a toe injury. No, wait, he's not injured, but he's not gone. He's not for sale, but we just left him out because of speculation. All right, we'll take 180 million. All right, well, he's not gone for less than 150 million.
Yeah,
all right.
For sale.
No, he's not for sale. He's not gone. Yeah. He's not leaving. That's the Callum Wilson replacement. That's the Papa Diop replacement. That's the bleeding Demba Ba replacement.
That's the fucking replacement.
Yeah. Tina Asprea's bleeding understudy. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah. And then it was like, just give us the 150 and fucking you'll do what you're told. Give us the 150. And we're like, no, we won't.
And it was like someone knocked on Luke Edwards' door the other day and just was like, listen, Luke, you've had a bit of fun now, but it's over. And he was just like, yeah, they're going. Look, literally, I was with Alex yesterday after Kop TV, and we were in the Monroe after the game, and it was about 7:00, and the first Luke Edwards tweet came out, and I was like, yeah, like, they will let him go if they don't get another striker. And then I was like, yeah. And about 5 minutes later, like they will probably take less than 130 million. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then yeah, they agree a deal. And then his first thing that he comes
Yeah.
out and says today is the Saudi Arabian ownership have been bullied into this deal by Liverpool.
It's mad, isn't it? It's
He's a
fucking mad.
fucking, the fella is a lunatic. The
He's
fella is
making
an
the money.
absolute.
He's making the money. I'm
He's
telling you.
yeah. Do you know what? I actually think he is a wind-up
I
merchant because I
think
see.
I think people have massively underplayed the fact that all them tweets that he puts out there, that little blue tick, that's all
A
you have to worry
satire.
about.
Yeah.
That's it. All you have to worry about.
And then
Um,
he put up, did you see the other one he put up? And it was great to get recognition from the Liverpool based journalist that I was the go to man on this deal he put
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. And now he's having a run in with he's having a run in with Paddy Power now as well this morning. All fucking mad, all mad.
When you think about it, like that's the first time that sentence has ever been said. There's a journalist having a run in with Paddy Power over a
Yeah,
transfer.
yeah, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. He's also given Ben Jacobs grief about not tagging him as well, which I did see that. But listen, he's known for. I tell you, he's known for. It's great laugh. It's been a great laugh all summer with him. But he's no. I don't think he's any sort of idiot. To be fair,
No, far from it.
yeah,
Far
far from
from
it.
it.
Right. I think we're gonna go. We've listed loads of names there. I'm sure everything will progress as we go along. I'll be back at 6 p.m. With Kev. Myself and Kev will be back at 6 p.m. running through till 7 till the last minutes of the window, and then we'll be back on Patreon tonight. And on our Patreon tonight, we'll be looking back at highlights of Liverpool against Arsenal, and we'll be chatting through them as we go. We might struggle for highlights, but we'll find a few. And then tomorrow, actually, we'll probably do Jesus, what actually happened in that transfer window, and we are going to do a look, which is going to take us hours to do this show tomorrow, when it's a look at the refereeing decisions from the Premier League over the weekend. That's on our Patreon as well. Let me see. There's nothing else there. There is nothing else there. No, we're all back. Red Steve, Shawnee, you can go back to work now, says Red Steve.
Thanks,
And
boss.
Brian says Gav does no work, he just goes on YouTube all day. Yeah, well, you can, if you want to put it like that, you can if you want. I've had worse said about me, to be fair. Right, that has been it. I've been Gav, that's been Shawnee, that's been your transfer deadline day lunch update. That's an awful lot to say. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.